My Mother-in-Law and I. Episode 2. Story by Truth Be Told. 2 weeks after Chiamaka left, Amara's life felt like a soft wind of peace was finally blowing her way. Abina became more present. He helped in the kitchen. He rubbed her back when she threw up. He even followed her to the antenatal clinic once, holding her hand like a new groom. Amara was happy, truly happy, for the first time in years. But happiness in her marriage never lasted too long. One Tuesday morning, she opened the front door to sweep the compound, and dropped the broom in shock. Mama Abina stood at the gate with 2 large Ghana must-go bags. She smiled like someone who had just come back from a church convention. "My Pekin," she greeted sweetly. "You won't welcome your mother-in-law." Amara swallowed hard. "Mama, you said you wouldn't return until." "I changed my mind," she cut in, pushing past her into the house. "This is still my son's house. Or has it become your father's compound?" Amara stood frozen, her heart sinking. She was back. That afternoon, Abina returned from work and met his mother comfortably seated in the sitting room, watching a Yoruba movie. "Mama, you didn't tell me you were coming," he said quietly. "I don't need permission to enter my son's house," she snapped. "Besides, I came with good news." Abina frowned. "What news?" Mama Abina smiled like someone who had caught a thief in church. "Your cousin, Nadu, is back from Malaysia. And he came with something big, a solution." Abina stared at her. "A solution to what?" "To test if that pregnancy is truly yours," she said calmly. Amara, who had been standing behind the curtain, gasped. "Mama, what do you mean by that?" Abina asked, his voice rising. Mama Abina stood and looked at her son boldly. "I said what I said. Nadu knows someone who can do a proper spiritual test. We'll find out if it's your baby or some herbalist's doing." Amara came out, her body shaking with anger. "Mama, enough is enough." Mama Abina turned to her. "Keep quiet, you this village wife. I'm not your mate. You've called me barren for 3 years. Now I'm pregnant, you say it's not his. What do you want from me? I want you gone." Mama Abina screamed. "You are not my choice." Abina stepped between them. "That's enough. This nonsense will not continue in my house." But Mama Abina was not done. The next day, she brought in a strange old woman, wrinkled face, red wrapper, and cowries around her neck. "She's the one who will test her," Mama Abina announced proudly. Abina refused. "This is madness, Mama. We're not doing this." But Mama Abina wasn't speaking to him. She turned to Amara. "If you refuse, then you're hiding something." Amara folded her arms. "I don't need to prove anything to you. God gave me this child. If you like, believe it or not. I'm done kneeling for you." The old woman hissed and left with her calabash. Mama Abina followed her out, grumbling curses. For days, the house was silent. Abina barely spoke to his mother. Amara stayed in her room, trying not to cry. Then one day, Mama Abina tried again. She cooked a guzi soup and pounded yam for Abina. She carried the tray to his room with a forced smile. "My son, eat. You've lost weight. Let me take care of you like before." Abina looked at the food, then at his mother. "Mama, I have a wife. Let her take care of me. That's her role now." Mama Abina's face dropped. "Your wife that used evil. Your wife that talks back." Abina stood up. "She may not be perfect, but she stayed when others ran. She loved me when I had nothing. She's carrying my child now. And Mama, whether you like it or not, she's staying." Tears welled up in Mama Abina's eyes. "So, this is it. You choose her." Abina walked past her. "No, Mama. I chose peace." That night, Amara and Abina sat outside, under the moonlight. "Thank you," she whispered. "For what?" he asked. "For finally seeing me." He smiled and held her hand. "I see you now. I'm sorry it took so long." But just when they thought the worst had passed, a knock came at the door the next day. It was a young girl. Slim, quiet, innocent looking. She had a baby strapped to her back. And she asked just one question. Please, is this the house of Abina Nwachukwu? Amara and Abina stared at the girl at the door. She couldn't have been more than 20 years old. Her wrapper was torn at the edges. Her feet were dusty, and the child on her back was fast asleep. Abina stepped forward. Yes, this is my house. Who are you? The girl lowered her eyes. My name is Ngozi. I came from Abakaliki. I don't know where else to go. Amara stepped forward, confused. How can we help you? Ngozi unwrapped the baby from her back slowly. This child belongs to your husband. The words hit Amara like thunder. Her heart skipped. What did you say? Abina took 2 steps back. What nonsense are you saying? Ngozi didn't look up. He is the father of my baby. His name is Ebuka. Silence. The compound went cold. Mama Abina, who had been eavesdropping from her room, rushed out like a hungry lion. I said it. I knew the charm she used would wear off soon. God has exposed you, Amara. Mama please, Abina shouted. Stay out of this. Amara's legs weakened. Her lips trembled. Abina, tell me this is a lie. Abina looked at the child. The baby had his eyes. His exact dimples. His nose. He sat down slowly, holding his head. Amara, I don't even know this girl. Ngozi spoke, still calm. 3 years ago, you came to our village for a building project. You stayed in my uncle's compound. We slept together once. You left the next day. Abina's eyes widened. Oh God. He remembered. It was the night he got drunk after fighting with Amara. The same year they were struggling to conceive. He had done something stupid. Something he buried deep in shame. Tears fell from Amara's eyes. She stood, speechless, betrayed and broken. Mama Abina danced like someone who won a lottery. You see your so-called perfect wife. You were busy crying about your barrenness, not knowing your husband was enjoying outside. Enough, Mama, Abina yelled. This is my fault. Leave Amara out of this. Amara didn't wait to hear more. She ran inside, locked the door, and collapsed to the floor. She sobbed for hours, her body shaking from the pain. The betrayal felt worse than 1,000 insults. Meanwhile, Ngozi sat outside, quietly breastfeeding her baby. Later that night, Abina knocked on Amara's door, but she didn't answer. He knelt outside the room, tears in his eyes. Amara, I swear I didn't know. I was stupid. I was angry that year. You were sad. I was confused. I made a mistake I'll regret for life. No answer. I love you. I want this child you're carrying. Please, don't leave me. Inside, Amara held her belly and whispered, Why now, God? Why? The next morning, Amara opened the door. Her eyes were swollen, but her voice was firm. Abina, I will not leave. But I need time. I need space. Abina nodded, tears falling. Then she turned to Ngozi, who stood awkwardly beside the door. You can stay here for a while, not for him, but for the baby. Ngozi nodded. Thank you. But don't mistake my kindness, Amara added. You're not my friend. You're just a mother who needed help. Mama Abina, watching from the corner, hissed and walked out. Inside her heart, she was burning. She didn't expect Amara to stay. She didn't expect her to forgive. And now, she knew she had to try something new. If the past didn't break Amara, the future must. Amara tried to stay calm, but her world was now a ticking time bomb. Every time she saw Ngozi sitting in the veranda with her baby, bitterness rose in her throat. Abina avoided her eyes, but he tried everything to show he was sorry. He cooked, cleaned, and even washed her clothes. But Amara wasn't ready. Not yet. Mama Abina, on the other hand, had not relaxed. She couldn't believe that Amara stayed. She is pretending, she said one day to Ngozi. Soon she will kick you out. If you don't act fast, your child will suffer. Ngozi was silent, but Mama Abina's words echoed in her head. Act fast. One evening, while Amara was sitting outside, Ngozi came and knelt before her. I want to thank you, she began. For letting me stay. For helping my baby. You didn't have to. Amara looked at her and said nothing. Ngozi continued, I know I brought pain into your home, but I swear I didn't come to destroy your marriage. Amara stood up slowly. Then don't. Because I am barely holding myself together. One more move from you, and I will show you that I'm not weak. Ngozi nodded and walked away. But deep down, something had changed. She no longer felt like a guest. She began to feel entitled. A week later, Abina traveled to the city for a contract. Mama Abina took this as an opportunity. That morning, she knocked on Amara's door with force. Amara opened it slowly. What is it, Mama? Pack your things. You must go. Amara raised her brows. Go where? You've stayed in this house for over 5 years without giving us a child. You have failed. But now, God has sent Ngozi to give my son what you couldn't. You are no longer needed. Amara folded her arms. Mama, I'm pregnant. Did you forget? Mama Abina laughed. That lie again. Until I see the baby with my own eyes, I won't believe it. Amara said nothing. She went inside and came back with her hospital card and scan photo. This is proof. Mama Abina snatched it, glanced at it, then tore it to pieces. Lies. This could be anybody's card. Ngozi stood in the background, watching quietly. Her baby cried on her back, but she didn't move. Amara's chest burned. She had held her peace for long. This house belongs to my husband. You're not my landlord. You cannot chase me out. Mama Abina slapped her. Amara staggered, holding her cheek. Tears stung her eyes, but she didn't fall. She turned slowly, went inside, and came back with a bucket of water. Mama, I've warned you before. If you ever touch me again. Before Mama Abina could speak, Amara poured the water on her. Cold water soaked the woman from head to toe. Mama Abina screamed like a mad woman. Amara, I will kill you today. She picked up a broom and charged. Amara dodged and grabbed a stool. Ngozi shouted, Stop, please. But it was too late. The compound turned into a wrestling ring. Neighbors ran in to separate them. Later that night, Amara packed her bags. Not because she was afraid, but because she needed peace, for herself and the baby. Abina returned the next day and saw her room empty. He rushed out. Where is Amara? Mama Abina shrugged. She ran away. That girl is not your wife. Ngozi is your true wife. Abina stared at her in shock. You chased my wife away. I did what's best for you. Abina shook his head, grabbed his car keys, and drove off. He knew where to find Amara. Meanwhile, Amara had gone to stay with her childhood friend, Kioma, in town. Kioma held her tightly. You should have told me all this before now. You'll stay here till you deliver. No more crying. Amara nodded, her heart heavy. But as days turned into weeks, something happened that shocked everyone. Ngozi started changing. She wore Abina's t-shirts in the house. She cooked his food. She called his number every night. Mama Abina clapped in joy. Yes. Mark territory. But Abina didn't answer her calls. He stayed away. He was searching for Amara. Calling her phone. Sending texts. One evening, he got a message. Don't come yet. I'm not ready to see you. But the baby is fine. Amara. Abina cried in his car that night. He knew he had broken something precious. And no matter how much he tried to fix it, it might never return to the way it was. The return of the lioness. Amara sat on the bed, her fingers trembling as she stroked her swollen belly. The days in Kioma's house had been peaceful, but they were also filled with deep reflection. She often thought about Abina, but more about the life she was building within herself. The betrayal still hurt, but her heart was learning to forgive, for her own sake, and for the child she carried. Kioma came into the room, holding a warm bowl of soup. I know you don't want to talk about it, but you've got to get your strength back. The baby needs you. Amara forced a smile and took the soup, grateful for Kioma's unspoken support. You're right, Amara said softly. I've been angry for so long. I've been hurt for so long. I never stopped to think that maybe I deserve better than this. Kioma nodded, sitting next to her. You do. You deserve a love that fills you up, not drains you. A knock at the door interrupted them. Kioma stood up. I'll get it, she said, leaving Amara alone for a moment. When she returned, her expression was somber. It's Abina. Amara's heart stopped. She stood up immediately, her body reacting without thought. What is he doing here? He says he needs to talk to you. He says it's urgent. Amara swallowed hard. She had prepared herself for this day, though she didn't think it would come so soon. I'll be right there, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. When Amara stepped outside, she saw Abina standing by the car, looking tired and worn. His face was gaunt, and his eyes, those eyes that once sparkled with affection, were now filled with regret. He took a deep breath when he saw her. Amara. Amara crossed her arms. What are you doing here, Abina? I'm sorry, he began, his voice thick with emotion. I never should have let things get this far. I shouldn't have listened to my mother. I was wrong. Amara couldn't speak. The hurt was too much. How could she possibly accept his words after everything that had happened? Abina took a step forward. Amara, please. I know you're angry. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I beg you to give me a chance to make things right. For the baby, if not for us. She looked at him, studying his face. The man who once loved her, the man who betrayed her. She wanted to scream at him, to yell about the pain he caused her, but instead, she stood still, letting the silence speak for itself. Finally, she spoke. You say you're sorry, but sorry doesn't fix everything, Abina. I've been here, waiting for you to choose me. But you didn't. And now you want me to believe that things will change. I do choose you, Abina said urgently. You're the only one I want. It was never Ngozi. I was foolish, Amara. I let my mother control me, and now I've lost you. But I won't lose you again. Amara's heart wavered for a moment. She had longed for these words, but now they felt empty, hollow. She had learned to survive without him, and in that survival, she had found strength. But her heart had been wounded so deeply that it wasn't sure it could trust him again. Where is she, Abina? Amara asked, her voice trembling slightly. Who? He asked, his brow furrowing in confusion. Don't pretend like you don't know. Where is Ngozi? Amara's voice was sharp now, a painful edge to her words. Has she been living in my place all this time? Has she been playing housewife while I was gone? Abina hesitated before speaking. She's been staying with my mother. I never wanted it to go this far, Amara. I swear. The wind seemed to grow colder as Amara's emotions ran wild. She wanted to shout, to hit something, to make him feel the agony she had felt over the past few weeks. But instead, she stood, still as stone. You lied to me, Abina, she said finally, her voice a bitter whisper. You lied to my face, and now you expect me to just let you back in. Tears welled in his eyes. I don't expect this, Amara. I don't deserve to do you this, I need you. Please, don't do this. Please come back to me. Amara closed her eyes, as if trying to block out the pain of the past. She thought about the life she was building, about the future of her child. She thought about her own peace, her own happiness. And she thought about her marriage, about the love that had once been so pure, so beautiful, but now seemed so tainted by lies. You need to make a choice, Abina, she said, her voice firm. You can't keep living in two worlds. Either you choose me, and you fight for this family, or you choose your mother, and you lose me for good. There's no middle ground anymore. Abina stood frozen, his face pale. The weight of her words sank into him, but he didn't know if he had the strength to choose. I'm sorry, Amara, he whispered. Amara took a deep breath and stepped back. I'm done being sorry for myself, Abina. I'm done living in this nightmare you created. You need to figure things out. But I'm not waiting anymore. And with that, Amara turned around and walked back into Kioma's house. Days passed in a blur of emotions. Abina left, and Mama Abina's calls became more frequent, demanding that Amara come back and fix her marriage. But Amara stood her ground. She focused on her health, on the life growing inside her. Every morning, she reminded herself that she was stronger than she had ever been before. But just when she thought things were starting to settle, something unexpected happened. One morning, Kioma's doorbell rang. Amara answered, her heart skipping a beat when she saw Abina standing there, holding a small box in his hands. I've made my choice, he said, his voice full of resolve. I choose you, Amara. I choose this family. And I'm not going anywhere. Please, let me prove it to you. Amara's chest tightened. She didn't know if she could trust him again, but she knew one thing for sure. Her heart was no longer the same. And no matter what happened next, she would always be a lioness, strong and fierce, protecting her own heart. The days that followed Abina's return were filled with heavy silence. Amara had not said yes, but neither had she said no. She had watched him every day, waiting for signs of genuine change. He had moved in with her temporarily, though he still spent much of his time at his mother's house. The cracks in their relationship were deep, but there was still a part of her that wondered, could love really heal all wounds? Abina had shown up every day with a new attempt at atonement. Some days, he would bring her favorite foods, others he would surprise her with flowers. His gestures, though sincere, only served to remind her of how much she had once loved him. Amara knew she had every right to remain angry. She had been betrayed, humiliated, and abandoned. But a part of her heart longed for the comfort of their past, the joy they once shared. She could not deny it. She still loved him, but love alone could not rebuild what had been broken. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Amara sat by the window, gazing out into the distance. The evening light bathed the world in an orange glow, and the air was crisp and refreshing. Her thoughts were heavy, the burden of decision pressing down on her chest. A deep sigh escaped her lips as she ran a hand over her swollen belly, feeling the life within her shift. It was at that moment that Kioma entered the room, her presence as gentle as always. You've been quiet today, Kioma observed, sitting beside her. What's on your mind, Amara? Amara turned her head toward her friend. Kioma was always a pillar of strength, offering support without ever pushing her to do something she wasn't ready for. But now, Amara felt her shoulders tense at the thought of the choices that lay ahead. I don't know what to do anymore, Kioma, she admitted softly. I can feel myself wavering. Abina says he's changed, that he's chosen me, but my heart is full of fear. Fear that if I open the door to forgiveness, he'll just walk out again. Kioma smiled, but there was sadness in her eyes. I know it's hard, Amara. But you can't live your life in fear. Fear of being hurt again is natural, but it shouldn't hold you back from moving forward. Amara let the words linger, pondering them. She had spent so much time protecting herself from pain that she had forgotten how to trust. How could she move forward when she wasn't sure what awaited her on the other side? I can't forgive him yet, Amara said, her voice trembling slightly. The wound is still too fresh. Kioma nodded. And that's okay. Forgiveness isn't something that happens overnight. It's a process, and it starts with you. If you want to move on, you have to allow yourself to heal. You have to put yourself first. Amara knew Kioma was right. She needed time to heal. But she couldn't deny that a part of her wanted to try again with Abina, wanted to believe that their love could survive the wounds of the past. That night, as she lay in bed, thoughts swirling in her mind, she heard a gentle knock on the door. It was Abina. Her heart skipped a beat as she sat up, her emotions mixed. Was he here to apologize again? Or had he truly made up his mind? Amara, his voice called softly through the door. Can we talk? Amara took a deep breath. She didn't know if she was ready, but she knew she had to face this head on. Come in. Abina stepped into the room, his face more solemn than ever. He was no longer wearing the charm of confidence that he had once carried so easily. Now, he looked like a man who had been broken by his own actions, a man who had realized the depth of the hurt he had caused. He closed the door behind him gently and sat at the edge of the bed. I know I've failed you, Amara. I know words can't undo what I've done, but I'm asking for a chance to show you that I'm different. That I'll do whatever it takes to make things right. Amara's breath caught in her throat. His words were powerful, but they felt like echoes of everything he had said before, words she wanted to believe, but feared to trust. I don't know if I can forgive you, Abina, she said quietly. I don't know if I can forget what happened.